All right, in section 8.6, we're going to be solving these rational expressions. And there's going to be two approaches that you take. The first involves cross multiplying. So I'm going to look at your homework on page 593, and I'll go ahead and I'll do number 8. Okay, number 8 on page 593. Ask you to solve this particular equation. Now, for solving, this one is easy for certain reasons, but let's just go through a full, we have the same denominator, so it's not as challenging. But if you have an expression without any pluses or minuses between them on each side, so in other words, we got one entity, one fraction here, x over x plus 1, we have a second one here. This is a candidate for cross multiplying. If it had been something like this, okay, then you can't cross multiply because you have this term in here. So if you have a single term on both sides of the equal sign, then you can cross multiply. So the cross multiply, we kind of go like this, and then we set it equal to that. So in this case, we'll get x times x plus 1 equals 3 times x plus 1. Okay, so all we did was cross multiply. Then you solve. X times x is x squared. X times 1 is x. So we have x squared plus x on this side. And on this side, we distribute the 3. Okay, and we get 3x plus 3. Now we have to solve. Because it's a quadratic, okay, and we have x terms and constants, that should be a clue for you to put everything on one side and set it equal to 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move everything that's on the right over to the left. So I'm going to get x squared plus x, and I'm going to do minus 3x, because we're going to move the 3x over, and then I'm going to do minus 3. I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms, so the x minus the 3x makes minus 2x minus 3 equals 0. So that's the equation that we have to solve. Now you have to factor this in order to solve it, and two numbers that multiply to negative 3 and add to negative 2 gives us this factoring, x minus 3 and x plus 1 equals 0. Set each parenthesis equal to 0, we'll get x equals 3 and x equals negative 1. Now what you need to do is you need to always go back and check for extraneous roots, or situations, in this case, where we create a denominator equal to 0. You're not allowed to have denominator equal to 0. And if I take negative 1 and I plug it back up in the original equation, I'd get negative 1 plus 1, which is 0. A negative 1 creates a 0 denominator, so it cannot be part of the solution. So the only answer to number 8 is x equals 3. So you'll do one night's worth of homework, the first night's where you'll just keep practicing cross multiplication. On the second night, you're actually going to have more complex problems. And I'll go ahead and do number 17 on page either 593 or 594. Number 17, it's 1 over 2x plus 3 over x plus 7 equals negative 1 over x. This is not a candidate for cross multiplying because you've got two terms here to one term here. So what we need to do is we need to find the least common multiple, or what would otherwise be the common denominator. So the least common multiple, as we studied in class in this case, is going to be the 2, an x, and an x plus 7. Because this is what the least common denominator would have been. We need one of everything. So we have a 2. These two terms have x, so we take an x, and we have an x plus 7. And the way we do these is we multiply each term by that least common multiple. So let's do that. We have 1 over 2x, and I'm going to multiply that by 2 times x plus 7. On the second term, it's 3 over x plus 7. I'm going to multiply it by 2 times x plus 7 equals negative 1 over x. I'm going to multiply this term by 2 times x plus 7. Now I'm going to look for my crossouts. So here I have a 2x with a 2x. So all I'm left with here is x plus 7. In this term, I have the x plus 7 with the x plus 7, and I'm just left with the 6x. And on this term, this x goes away with this x, and I'm left with minus 2 times x plus 7. And there's an equal sign there. Right over there. Okay? So now what I'll do is I'll simplify that by having negative 2x minus 14. Okay, now I need to solve, so I'll put all the x's on the left side, so I'll bring the 2x over to this side, and I'll bring the 7 over to this side. Okay, and what I'm left with is an x and a 6x and a 2x. That makes 9x. And on this side I'm going to have a negative 21, and I'll divide by 9. So I'll get x equals negative 21 over 9, but those terms are each divisible by 3, so that would be negative 7 over 3. Go back and check to see if it creates an extraneous situation. No, a negative 7/3 down here isn't going to create a 0 denominator, a negative 7/3 over here isn't going to create a 0 denominator, and a negative 7/3 here isn't. So negative 7/3 is your answer. So those are the two ways. At the top we cross multiply when it presents itself, and when it doesn't, we multiply all the terms by the least common multiple, and then we just go ahead and simplify. Ultimately, you'll be able to solve. Hope that helps. Good luck.